Today, class, we are going to be learning about understanding music notes and more so on how to beam notes that we've learned about in our last lesson. So we learned a lot about these notes right here that look like that are eighth notes, but they just are by themselves. And today we're going to learn about how to put them together so they look like this. Upon the completion of this smartboard, the students will be able to produce the right rhythms that are presented to them and beam notes in the correct way in simple meter. The academic content standard that we're hitting today is singing alone and with others with accurate rhythms, pitch, and appropriate expressive qualities, focusing more so on rhythms. Alright, so beaming in 4/4 time. As we know and we learned in our last lesson that there are 8 eighth notes in one full measure of 4/4 time. So that means that they look like this. So you can see here that we have 8 eighth notes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 eighth notes. And you can see we are also in 4/4 time. So, but what you can't tell is that since we are in 4/4 time, we know the quarter note gets the beat, but you can't see any quarter notes in there. And the reason why we beam is so that we know where the beat is. So if we would beam these notes like this, we could see right where the beat is, and that's going to be on our next slide, actually. So let's go to our next slide. Okay. As you can see, the beaming in the last slide was not correct. If you just took away the things that I drew here, you could see that the beaming wasn't correct because there was no beaming at all. The most important thing to remember when you're beaming is never beam across the beats. And you'll see that I did not beam over the beats. And I wrote in the beats actually, so you can see 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So there it is. And what I mean by beaming across the beats is that the beats come right here. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and then that's 4. So that beaming is fine. But if I did something like this, that would be totally against the rules because we would be beaming in between a beat. And we wouldn't be able to see where that beat comes in. So that is a big no-no when we're beaming. So let's do a little experiment here. Let's do 4/4 time again. And we are going to put some eighth notes in here. Maybe a rest, and we'll put some more eighth notes. Alright, so as you can see, the beaming isn't correct because there's no beaming at all. So I'm going to beam it, and I want you guys to tell me if I'm beaming it in the correct way. So, let's get rid of these flags here that just... Oops. Alright, so did I beam it in the right way? Is everything great there? No, it's not. Very good. So as you can see that I have my first beat here, my second beat here as the rest, my third beat here, and then where's my fourth beat? My fourth beat should be right here, but as you can see that I beamed it across the beat, which is a big no-no. Any questions? Great. So why do we beam? I kind of touched on that a little bit. But we beam because it helps make the notes fit better on the page. So if we just had a full measure of 4/4 time here, and we just had 8 of these eighth notes, it just looks so messy. I don't even want to write it all out because it just looks so messy. So we beam to make it look better because I think that 4 of those looks a lot neater than 8 of the other little things. And it makes the music look more cleaner. It makes the music look cleaner. And it makes the music better to read for the musicians. It is a lot easier to see where the counts come when I'm looking at something like this. So if I'm playing my instrument or singing and I see this, it's a lot easier for me to count in my head so I can stay with the conductor. 1, 2, 3, 4, opposed to seeing 8 little things and not knowing where to go next. So this is a little bit of a YouTube video, and due to time, we're not going to watch it today, but I'll send you all the link and you guys can watch it when you get home. And it just kind of re-emphasizes what I'm teaching today. So, it's just a little fun interactive game for you guys. I want you guys to come up here one at a time, and raise your hand and I'll pick somebody to come up here and pop the balloon that has the right beaming for these eighth notes that you see in one beat of 4/4 time. And as you know, pop the balloon, and that's the balloon. And then also, you can see there, we're going to pop the balloon that is the right one there. Alright, so now that we've learned a little bit, now it's time to take a short little quiz. So, you can read the question there. How many tied eighth notes are in one full measure of 4/4 time? So think about it here. You can draw a little picture in your head. Alright, let's see. There you go. We got that one right. Alright, and now we can do a little bit of review here just for fun. Excuse me. How many eighth notes are in a measure of 4/4 time? So untied eighth notes, those little notes with the flake, how many are in there? Time. Alright, there you are. So, you guys did an awesome job today, and then next week we might learn a little about beaming in a different meter, like 2/2 time, or 3/2 time, or 6/8 time, or 12/8 time. You know, there's infinite number of times. So, alright, you guys all did a great job today, and I will see you next week.